Okay, so now for the other video, you already learned how to record and clean up your VO and how to make it be the right length. So I've already done this here. And to import it, you just go File, Import, and then you go to the import file and bring it in. Okay, so here it is. So you just take it and drag it over and drop it in here. Make sure you butt it all the way to the left here. Okay, and then what you want to do is just make sure that this is open. Now, this is the essential sound panel. If you just come over here and go to your workspaces, okay, this is your default workspace. If you're not seeing the essential sound panel, you can bring it up here. Just click on that and it'll come up. Okay, so what we're going to do here just real quickly is we're just going to click on this just so it's selected. Now it's not selected, now it is. And with this, we're going to tell it it's dialogue, and we're going to say, in my case, it's balanced male voice. In your case, it might be female voice. So let's go here, just let it do its little magic, and then also just listen to it. And it shouldn't need to be cleaned up, but we're going to check the volume and make sure we're averaging around -6. And we're slightly low, so we're going to bring it up like a couple dB. So I'm going to bring it up like maybe 1 dB there. Maybe one more, so I'm just going to click in here and just type 2.0. Okay, so now that we're happy there. So now let's look at the script. And I'm just going to go to the script here. Okay, so I've got this popped up, and I'm just using Alt-Tab on PC. On Mac, it's Command-Tab to just switch back and forth between these programs. So get rid of this. So I'm just switching back and forth, just using Alt-Tab and Command-Tab. So now I'm just going to look at the script, and it says, so want to get your honey the perfect gift. Okay, it says just gallop. That's not gallop, it's gallop. Okay, into Dimwit, and there's the horse gallop. So let's go get that. Now, I'm encouraging you to put in one sound effect at a time rather than importing all the sound effects at once. So let's go here and just right click, and we're going to say we're going to import, and we're going to go out here, and this is the horse gallop. So we're just going to take this here, and we're going to put it down here. So take the horse gallop and put it in here, and it has to line up with the right part of the script. Okay, I'm just going to not show that every time. And so it needs to line up where we're saying just gallop into Dimwit auto dealers today. So let's find that.
Want to get your honey the perfect holiday gift? Just
right there, just gallop into. So right there, just put the playhead there, and then grab this in the middle and slide it over here, and let's play it. Okay, so it's a little bit too long, so I'm going to zoom in with the plus key. And I'm just going to shorten it. I don't want it to go into this next piece of dialogue, so I'm just going to just slide this back just a little bit. Also, I can put a slight fade out by just dragging that little icon, see the little fade, and do the same thing to fade it in just a tad. And let's play it again.
Holiday gift. Just gallop into Dimwit auto dealers today, and you can drive away with the car of your dreams.
Now the next one is and you could drive away with the car of your dreams. So let's see where that starts. Is right here. And so it's right there. So now we're going to bring in the next sound effect, and we're going to put it down on the next track. We're not going to put everything on the same track. So let's go here and import and car driving away. And let's take the car driving away and put it right down here. Okay, now these are all a little too loud, so we're going to come in here. Let's just mute this one for now and just come back to this one. Just play it. Actually, that's a nice level, so I'm going to leave that one alone. I'm going to mess with that one. Let's go to here. Let's unmute this. Just take off that little M there. Okay, so let's take this down about maybe -6 dB. Okay. That's pretty good. So let's save, Command S or Control S for PC, and let's go to the next one. So just imagine how you feel when your significant other, so there's nothing there, and then shows her friends how generous you were this holiday season. So let's find that.
Just imagine the proud feeling you have as your significant other shows.
There's shows is right there. Shows her friends, and let's import here. So this is the woman laughing. Okay, and let's come down here and we're going to just scroll down a little bit so we can see what we're doing. We can just hit this so we can zoom out of the timeline a little bit here. So we pick here, that's the button for zoom out. If you just touch it, it tells you what it does. So we're going to zoom out, so right there. And again, leave the playhead where you need to be, and we're going to put it down on the next track. So we're going to take the woman laughing and put it right here. And again, let's check for volume.
Another shows her friends just how generous.
That's actually pretty good.
Your significant other shows her friends just how generous you were.
Okay, this holiday season. Okay, so the next one, and if you're not satisfied with your clunker, okay, so let's find that.
This holiday season. And
Right there, and if you're not satisfied with your clunker, okay, we're going to import the car backfiring. Is that what it's called for? No, false start. Okay, so let's right click and import, call false start. Okay, and again down on the next track. So let's get the false start.
if you're not satisfied.
And that's way too loud, so let's click on here and let's take it down about -8 dB roughly. Save. And we're going to check this so it doesn't keep popping up every time I save. Okay, so here we go.
And if you're not satisfied.
And that's still a little loud, so let's take it down another 3 dB, so -11 dB.
And if you're not satisfied with your clunker.
Okay, and now these tracks are getting a little too wide here. We need to see this scrolling on down. So what we're going to do is just compress the tracks a little bit. Okay, this is zoom out. Okay, so that just makes we can put the next one here. So this one is the false start.
And if you're not satisfied with your clunker.
Don't cry to us, so that's the baby. So let's go get the crying baby. And we'll put the crying baby down on this one, this track. And again, we'll just scroll down just a little bit. We just grab this whole bar and just scroll it down. So let's get how this flows from one end to the other.
And if you're not satisfied with your clunker, don't cry to us.
And that's pretty close, so let's click on this one. Let's take it down about -4 dB.
With your clunker, don't cry to us. We won't.
Okay, so we don't want to go into the next one. So don't cry to us. So right on the word "we" there, that's where we're going to cut it off. So let's just trim it back to there and save. And then we won't answer the phone. Is the phone ringing? So let's go get the phone. Import. Telephone ringing. And let's go get that. Put it down here.
We won't answer the phone.
And again, that's a little loud, so let's just go here and let's do like -5 dB. Test it.
We won't answer the phone.
Now this just kind of cuts off sort of abruptly there. Let's hear that. Let's mute this because we're going to listen to how the baby ends.
Don't cry to us. We won't.
So what we're going to do is let's park on the baby and just hit plus a couple times and zoom in. And then if you click on the baby, you get these little icons that are for fading. And we're just going to bring this fade out so it just kind of fades out. It's a little smoother at the end.
Don't cry to us. We won't answer the.
A little bit more maybe.
Don't cry to us. We won't answer the.
There we go. Now let's unmute this and zoom back out. And let's zoom this way. Okay. We'll take the tracks and make them a little bit taller.
We won't answer the phone. So what? To us, we won't answer the phone. So what do you?
Okay. Now let's go back and zoom out on zoom in on the tracks a little bit so we can see the width of them. Okay. And let's go back to the script. So what are you waiting for? No sound effect there. Then stop by Dimwit Auto Dealers. Now here we got to combine some effects that are happening at the same time. So we want the car to start backfiring because the backfire is going to spit out smoke. We're not seeing that, but we're imagining that. And then the male coughing is coming in, and we want to keep that going through all the way to the end. So we're going to come out here.
So what are you waiting for?
Okay, so what are you waiting for? Has no sound effect. Then we got the car backfiring. So let's scroll down here. And if you need more space, just grab this and make it taller. Right click, import. And we got car backfiring. And let's take that and put it down here on this track, right where the playhead is. If we need to zoom out just a little, we can. Okay. Now what we want to do, we can actually close this panel here, just so we can get an idea. And let's compress the tracks just a little bit here. So now we can see where he's talking here. Let's bring up the voice track so we can see where the voice is. Okay, and this is the sound effect for backfiring.
Stop by Dimwit Auto Dealers and let your exhaust pipe give everyone a white and smoky Christmas.
Okay, so it actually ends pretty close to the end here, so we're pretty good at where that's ending. Just want to make sure it doesn't go over the time. So we're at 29:15 right there. So let's zoom in. Oops, I'm zooming a little too far. Okay, and we'll zoom over just a little bit just to make sure that we're going to zoom in just a little here so we can see what we're doing. And we're just over the edge here. Let's go down here. So yeah, that's very close. So let's zoom in even more so we can see what we're doing to the very last. And we might need to just barely stretch, just snap that back just a smidge. And let's save. Okay, let's go back to the where we were looking. Zoom back out so we can see what we're doing.
Stop by Dimwit Auto Dealers and let your exhaust pipe.
Okay, so that's pretty loud, so we're going to just guess at putting it about minus. Let's start at -6. If we need to go down more, we'll go more.
Auto Dealers and let your exhaust.
Let's make it -10 actually.
Stop by Dimwit Auto Dealers and let your exhaust.
I think -8 was better. And then we're going to save, and let's add the last sound effect, which is the man coughing. Coughing. So we're going to let the first backfire happen because that's when the smoke comes out, okay? So let's go get the man. So we're going to put right here after the first backfire. So that's where the man's going to start coughing. So the coughing's here. Put it down on this track. Just butt it up against here. Scroll down a little bit so we can see it. And remember, we're going to cut off at the end here. So let's just scroll this on down. Right here is where the end of the commercial is at 29:15. And you can check your time down here. If you go forward with the right arrow key, we're at 29:15. I'm going to trim this off to 29:15. Okay. And let's check the volume as it compares.
Let your exhaust pipe give everyone a white and smoky Christmas.
Okay, and let's just bring this down just a very slow, like -2 maybe, and save. Okay, now let's listen to the whole thing. So we hit the backslash key so we can see the entire production, and let's listen to it from the beginning and compare all the sound effects to what the voiceover sounding like.
To get your honey the perfect holiday gift, just gallop into Dimwit Auto Dealers today, and you can drive away with the car of your dreams. Just imagine the proud feeling you'll have as your significant other shows her friends just how generous you were this holiday season. And if you're not satisfied with your clunker, don't cry to us. We won't answer the phone. So what are you waiting for? Stop by Dimwit Auto Dealers and let your exhaust pipe give everyone a white and smoky Christmas.
Okay, so let's go down here to the end at 29:15 and just hit plus a couple times just so we go to 15. Let's zoom in so we're not going over here with the coughing. So we're going to zoom in. You got to scroll down. Zoom in even more. So we can look at the bottom here and make sure that we're not off or just slightly. Well, we're pretty much right on the money there, so that's good. All right, so the last thing we're going to put in is the music. So I'm going to make this a little taller again and right click, and we're going to import the music, which is in here, Payday. going to take the music and put it down here on the bottom track and just bring it all the way to the beginning. And let's go back with the left arrow key by 1, so we're at 29:15, and then we'll trim this down. We'll just zoom in just a little bit here. I'm just hitting the plus key, and we're going to trim off this just a little bit. We're going to zoom in let's just make these checks a little bit taller so they're easier to deal with. There we go. And then click this one and trim. Got to move it into the little lower quadrant here and bring that back. Let's see how this works. And we just need a little fade at the end. Okay. Good. Okay. Now we're going to look at the entire timeline. So we're going to zoom out. We can see everything. Bring this all the way back to the beginning. Just stretch that out. And here's our commercial. Okay. So let's listen. We may have to adjust the music volume. Okay, music's a little loud. Still a little loud. Let's go -10.
Want to get your honey the perfect holiday? Just gallop into Dimwit Auto Dealers today, and you could drive away with the car of your dreams. Just imagine the proud feeling you'll have as your significant other shows her friends just how generous you were this holiday season. And if you're not satisfied with your broker, don't cry to us. We won't answer the phone. So what are you waiting for? Stop by Dimwit Auto Dealers and let your exhaust pipe get everyone.
Alright, the only one I thought was a little low was the baby. So let's bring up screen this down so we can get to, instead of -4, let's just make it -2. And let's save, Command S, and now we're gonna export the file. So we go to File, Export, and we're gonna export the multi-track mixdown as the entire session. Then make sure you do that. Export multi-track mixdown entire session, and then you're gonna tell it to go to your folder that you have here. So I'm just gonna do the Dimwit folder I made on the desktop. Okay, and we're gonna call it Dimwit Auto. It's gonna say mixdown, but let's change that. Dimwit Auto Radio Commercial, and just make sure there's a dot between the end of the word commercial and MP3, and say OK. And it's doing its thing here, and boom, it's done. Okay, and then that's what you export out, and well, you exported it out. That's what you're going to put up on SoundCloud, and then embed in your major projects page as Dimwit Auto Commercial Major Project.